my goodness, one of the most exciting albums I have laid my ears upon in quite some time, and it has come from an artist that I seem to struggle to find on social media, seem to struggle to find much of a presence around anywhere, and seem to struggle to find any sort of recognition for her. But this right here, guys, is a big potential album of the year contender. Wow. So Emily Steinwall, for what it's worth, I think you could pit her or group her in the progressive pop category, even rock category at points too, baroque pop, chamber pop, all of the different pops that you could label her, basically. And she has put out a debut album here that I can only seem to find on Bandcamp. See, another unknown aspect about her. She isn't putting any of her music on streaming by the looks of it. It's depressing, because this is insane. This is amazing. And got to shout out a good friend over on Twitter for recommending this on the tweet that I made for Undiscovered Gems of the Year, Agnes, on Twitter. Look, this would have probably fallen into that video that I will be doing at some point, by the way, but I can't not talk about this in a full video capacity. It just cannot be done. It has to be done in a separate video, because this is just sublime. The whole video could be about the opening track, Welcome to the Garden. This video could be about that song. I could just do a full review of this song. But because I want to talk about the whole album, I'm probably going to end up talking about I'd spend half the time reviewing this song as opposed to reviewing the whole album. But it deserves it. Welcome to the Garden is a magical track. It sort of invites you into this world immediately as well, with the way she sets up the tone with the lyrics, where she starts out the track, you know, with Welcome to the Garden. It's mysterious. You're just lured in. You're just lured in by her alluring way of just creating this, I guess, world, something. It's an absolute stunner of a track, and you just want to learn more about this garden immediately, with the drums as well, the kind of enchanting drum rhythm that really locks you in. There's just so much to love about this track. And this is the thing, it's a 10-minute track, so this is only the first minute or so that I'm discussing here, and it just gets better and better and better. The way her voice keeps on slipping out of this creepy nasally delivery is honestly like listening to something like Kate Bush would do. I know it's a really obvious comparison to make, but you know, there are other comparisons I could make too. I mean, Bjork as well, with the kind of way she slips in and out of that really bizarre vocal tone that she's got going for her. And a more recent comparison that I think is very apt, actually, is something that would have made it onto the Turning Wheel by Spelling, with that really weird, alluring, mystical delivery that Spelling has, particularly on tracks like Little Dear. It just kind of reminds me so much of that. It's a very theatrical approach to, you know, presenting her voice. And then it rushes into the chorus, and wow, the instrumentation just kind of booms. It crashes. Her voice just gets even more operatic. Welcome to the garden. And you're just like, oh, what is going on? It really reminds me of something Bent Knee would do, particularly on the chorus. The way the instrumentation just smashes and pounds. It sounds so ridiculously dramatic and over the top and theatrical, but in the best kind of way. And just when you think the song can't bring anything else, you've got the bloody freak out jazz session towards the end that really just elevates the song to a new level. I just feel like at this point she's just lost the will to understand where this world was even going to go. Maybe this is the world coming to an end. I don't even friggin' know, regardless of any analysis of that kind of, you know, sort of vision she's trying to present. The song just sounds ridiculously good. I feel like I got to end it there, because there's so many other tracks to talk about. It's a pretty short album though, to be fair, 37 minutes, not that many tracks. But God, I could keep going on and on and on about that song. It's just absolutely brilliant. One of the best songs of the year. Best songs of the year. Gotta be opener of the year. Like, I don't think that can be disputed in my mind. I don't think there's an opener this year that could be better than the way she kicked off the album with that track. But then the album ends up presenting itself as a much more diverse experience than you ever would have expected hearing that track. I mean, I was instantly ready for something like a Bent Knee, you know, that artistic, you know, over the top theatrical rock that was just gonna, you know, continue throughout the album for 7 tracks. I mean, I was totally happy for the album to do that, but it doesn't, and it doesn't feel out of place, and yet she just kind of flexes on you for the next half an hour with so many wonderful vocal performances over slightly differing instrumentation, but it just works. And yet, you know, that really grand, epic opening track just feels like a distant memory by the time you get to like track 5. And I'm okay with that, because she replaces it with absolutely spellbinding piano performances on the track like Bloom. This track Bloom is wonderful. This track sounds so bloody good, and her vocals, she sounds like a friggin' dove. She sounds like a dove on this track. Oh my god, one of the best vocal performances I think I've heard all year. And a track like Sorry is incredibly solemn as well, and once again she's just flexing on us with the vocals. And this is what I talk about a little bit as well in music. I've mentioned it before, and I'll mention it here again, but when a singer has such a good voice and has such a range and it sounds so beautiful, sometimes you kind of just sit there and think, yeah, everything is so good about this voice, but the instrumentation or the music itself can be a bit bland, a bit dull. Sort of feel a similar thing about the new Adele album. Not every Adele album, you know, 21 doesn't feel like that to me, but I thought 30 felt a bit like that at points. Wonderful voice, but what else you got? Some of these tracks just feel a bit thin, a bit bare, but she backs it up with the most wonderful instrumentation, and this track just ends up being so gorgeous. It's honestly so stunning and ridiculously impressive as well for a debut album to have production that sounds as wonderful as this. Like, you know, she's not the first to ever do it, by the way. I'm not trying to act like she is, but you know, you got to think of all the debut albums that come from, you know, artists that are being backed by huge record labels, or not even huge record labels, but just semi, you know, well-known record labels. And you can kind of go, wow, the production is impressive, but obviously, you know, they are being backed heavily by something. And yeah, I feel as though everything she's doing here is just incredibly independent. So I'm just kind of wondering how she managed to make the music sound so good. Even Late Night Romantic, which is ridiculously short, too short, I would say, is very pretty. It just feels like I think this track could have extended out and gone on a bit longer. Maybe she didn't want too many tracks to go on for a long time, because Back to Earth is another track that does kind of start to, you know, touch the heavy lengths. Not anywhere near as much as Welcome to the Garden, but you know, it is a bit longer. Absolutely lush, this track. I feel like I'm running out of words, but honestly, the production on this album, on these tracks, are just... it's just so good. It just sounds so good. And there's this weird little hopefulness to the song as well. I don't know if it's like, you know, the garden is where she was, and now she's just kind of like, you know, reaching back to reality, and she's getting back to where things should be. And it's almost like, you know, she's just telling herself, you know, things are going to be good now. We're making it back. We're back to the place where I should be. But even without any loose interpretations that I could be making with the music, it just sounds so good that I just don't really mind if I'm getting things like that slightly wrong. Everlasting Love is a track that feels like it's an ode to French pop, honestly, with the la 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 la, and the really like upbeat, happy-go-lucky instrumental. I feel like I've heard, you know, Francois Hardy do something like this, or even a more modern example, which is probably more apt. But a Chloe Pelgag, this track sounds so much like something Chloe Pelgag would do. And the ending is as wholesome as what you'd want an album that sounds as good as this to be. Really, really wholesome final track. Oh, wow. Just feels like, you know, just so earnestly said. The way she's, you know, presenting the lyrics just feels really positive and inspiring. I love this track, honestly. And, you know, aside from Late Night Romantic, which I think again could be longer, I just love this album from front to back. This is just absolutely stunning. what an album, and why this isn't more well known, I don't know, but perhaps because she's so independent, very obscure, doesn't really give her name out there, isn't really, you know, all over the internet, you can't find her that easily. I'd imagine that's probably why. But hopefully, man, all of the things I've said in this video have made you interested, have piqued your interest, because I'm telling you right now, this video probably won't get many views, but oh God, I'm here to say that this is one of the best albums of this year. I am very, very impressed with what she's doing here. An absolute stunner. Wow, what a talent we've stumbled upon here. This is a 9 out of 10. This is a 9 out of 10 easily, man. And I have only given 2 other 9 out of 10s this year. So yeah, we have a bit of a battle going on with what could be my album of the year, which is pretty exciting actually. I like that there's a few in contention, because for a while it was just Pierre Bourne. But in the last month, we've brought in Aries, and now we have Emily Steinwall. So yes, what an album this is. I hope you check it out. I mean, this is the highest praise I could ever give to an album. I'm trying my hardest to convince you here, but I promise you there's got to be one track you'll take away from this. There's got to be. So yeah, let me know your thoughts if you have already heard it. If you have already heard it, I'm very impressed with you. I'd love to know what you guys think if you listen to it and then come back to this review. Really would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. As always, have a good day. Subscribe if you haven't already. Go check this out on Bandcamp. Like I say, I'll keep a link in the description because it's hard for it seems hard to find, but hopefully you will click the link and you will not be disappointed. Subscribe. Have a good day. Goodbye.